Hey guys, how you doing? So this week I'm jumping straight into the pricing strategy. This is a topic that I have been promising to deliver to you for a while now. And the reason why I haven't done it is because I really wanted to make sure that I give you the right package and the right formula so that you'll be able to assess that and put it into your own practices. So many people in the industry just go by what their competition is giving and what their competition is doing with regards to their prices, but they're really not selling what they're worth. Not everybody has the same values as you. Not everybody has the same skills. So you cannot compare yourself entirely to what is out there on the market. I am not saying that you should just be putting yourself right up there, which is totally unreachable price, but you definitely have to have a substance on and a formula that's going to work for you and really sell at a value that you truly are worth. So stick around, and if you're excited about this video, I want you to hit the like button, the subscribe and the bell, and then you'll be able to follow every single video that I upload on YouTube. Now hang around, I'm just going to go and share my pricing strategy with you, so just hang with me. All right, so here we are. So I'm just going to move my screen so you guys can all see me. Here we go. So the pricing strategy that I've come up with is basically based on the fact that many people complain that maybe when you come out there on the market and you have a value that you think you're worth, and then the clients come to you and say, hang on a minute, your price is too high, I can't afford that price. What do you think you're going to say? And why do you think they're coming up with that? So what happens when these guys come to you? Oops, sorry, I'm running away with this with the mouse. What happens when you sacrifice your price? So when you sacrifice your price, you're actually breaking boundaries. So what does that mean? It's putting you into a weaker position from day one, right? So you're actually getting into a negative frame of mind straight from the beginning. It also devalues your worth outcome. So you'll be more frustrated as you know you're worth more, and yet you're still working at a lower rate. You're going to attract bad clients. So if you already work with clients, you know what these are, right? You know that these are the ones who don't want to pay. They're the ones who just complain every time, they cancel last minute, and then they come up with all sorts of excuses for canceling. And maybe the ones that just complain about the classes or about their sessions, they're the ones that you really don't want to be having in your classes. This is also short game. So if you're sacrificing your price, you're actually basically having this is a non-lasting relationship. It's not sustainable. You know, you're not going to be able to support this formula. And these guys are fly-by-nighters. So these guys are going to make the most out of you. They're going to take as much as they can out of you, and then just going to leave you at the drop of a hat. So you don't want to be associating yourself with people like this. Now, in opposition to sacrificing your price and charging what you're actually worth, you're going to be seen as an expert in your field, and you're going to be a premium choice. So everybody's going to be wanting to work with you. Now, of course, you're going to be more profitable because you're charging what you're actually worth. You're going to be working with clients that you love. So you're going to enjoy teaching them and creating a relationship with them. And it's very much building your own tribe. It's building your own community. Being in a relationship like this, it's going to be in the long game. It's going to be a long game. So you're going to be building these relationships. These guys are going to be committed to working with you, and they're not just loving you as their Pilates teacher. You're actually their guru. They're going to look up to you, yeah? And of course, they're going to be more committed clients. These guys are going to want to work with you. They're going to be 1000% committed to what you're giving them. So let's assume that the client is continuously saying, I can't afford your pricing, you're way beyond my reach, I'm not able to work with you. And you're going to need to ask them, what are you actually basing that fact on, right? So let's figure out, first of all, how you are going to come up with your own pricing. how you are going to come up with your own pricing strategy. So we have three factors to consider. We have the cost, and this is going to be the cost to the client. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in a second. This is the income. This is actually your income goal. And there's the barrier to entry. Okay, first of all, let's go look into the cost of it. So let's look at the cost of the client. What is it? What does that mean? This is going to be, what is it going to cost the client if they don't actually take any sessions with you? So I look at this on three phases here, on three levels. So this isn't just going to be a financial cost. This isn't a financial cost to the client. There are three elements that they really need to consider. First of all, there's the physical cost. So think, for example, of a client who has got back problems and they're wanting to do Pilates because they've heard that Pilates is going to help them with their back problems. Think about the physical cost of not being able to get out of bed in the morning, not being able to put on their shoes, not being able to get on with their life, not being able to enjoy their family, not being able to enjoy their friends, not being able to go to work. There's so much physical impairment here that they're unable to get on with their life. What is that going to do to their mental frame of mind? So that's going to be their mental cost. They're going to be depressed. They're going to be angry. They're going to be all negative. They're going to be feeling frustrated. And they're going to have this whole negative impact on everything else around them and everyone else around them. And I know this for a fact because I've had my own partner at one point in his life, he had 3 slip discs, and I know his own well-being, his own frame of mind was super low because of the pain that he was feeling. And you can see how this pulls them down. So there's the physical and there's the mental cost to them. Now look at the financial cost. Financial cost of having to do physiotherapy every week, maybe have to take treatment, having to go to the surgeon, having to take medical treatment, medical bills. All this is going to add up. So this isn't just about them looking at another Pilates teacher. This is about them not being able to sustain their current lifestyle because they have got so much pain that is costing them work, that is costing them their social life, and that's also costing them money, right? So that's one element that you have to consider when you're coming up with your pricing. That is going to be the value-based price. It's super important that you create value in the service that you give to your clients. Then we look at your income. Now, when we're looking at your income here, we need to consider your income goals. Now, when you're considering your income goals, it's not just a case of, okay, let's look at a desired turnover, as I put here, right? You've got a desired turnover. I'm just going to pluck a figure out of the air. No, you got to look at your break-even point. You got to look at your cost analysis. Yeah, you got to look at where your break-even point. And if you don't know what that is, you need to look at this video over here that's going to explain a little bit about more what the break-even point is. You also need to consider speaking to your accountant to make sure that you have got the right, at least the minimum market price for yourself. Then, based on that market price, you look at your desired turnover. Now, when you're looking at the desired turnover, you have to consider a number of things. First thing is the size of your studio, the capacity. Are you able to teach groups? Are you able to teach privates? Are you able to take full-time work? So you're going to be doing 40 classes a week? Are you doing 30 classes a week? Are you doing 20 sessions a week? Are you only doing this part-time? So all this has to be taken into account. So you've got to consider what your current capacity is. Then figure out your desired income. Based on that, you come up with the rate. Now, I always consider that just giving an hourly rate is not enough. You need to give value. You need to give a package. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that in my next video. But I want you to consider that if you want to have a starting point of starting for an hourly rate, you need to have a clarity on that. And this is a good way to give your value-based price. Okay. Now, the next thing is, so your value-based price is going to be that cost that we've been talking about, the cost that's costing the client. And that's not just about financial, that's going to be physical, mental, and financial. Then it's going to be your actual value, your value. And then you have to deduct the barrier to entry. Now, the barrier to entry isn't necessarily the competitor's price, your competitor's price, because it could actually be the travel costs for the client. Maybe they have to pay for a babysitter to come to you. So that you need to consider what the barrier to entry for them would be. Okay, so it's not necessarily what the barrier to entry for you is. Obviously, you don't want to be way overcharging over competitors in your area, but you have to also consider your value. So when you're looking at barriers to entry, we're looking at what is going to be hindering the clients, or maybe not allowing your clients to enter into your studio, not start up with you. It could be the competitors, it could be perhaps their cost of paying you and then traveling and then paying for childcare. It could be other issues that perhaps you need to consider and discuss with the client. But you have to compare this. You need to do some market research and you have to compare and see what you will be charging. Okay. Now, you've got to consider, this is your worth, this is your value. And I've got 3 responses here that you really need to consider here. So first of all, let's do this. Let's recap. So you got to recap with the client. If the client's not willing to come up with your pricing, that's fine. You just say, okay, so let me know exactly where you're at. Tell me where you are on a physical level. So you're telling me that you've got so much pain. You're telling me that you're unable to work, you're unable to walk, you're unable to move. And then how's that making you feel? There's your emotional level. Yeah, you're so low, you're so sad, you're frustrated, you're annoyed, you're angry with your family. And what about the financial level? It's costing you time off work. It's costing you medical costs. It's costing you travel time to have to go to your physio, travel time to have to go to your surgeon. So you got to repeat that back to the person to make them understand their current pain. Now, this is all coming from a place of scarcity. And remember, when people come from a place of scarcity, that's because that's all they've known in their life. Now, you've got to think about this. Scarcity is not being able to. Not being able to means that they've not been able to sort their problems out so far. Yes, so they have to consider a new direction. They have to consider a new way, and you are the new way. Now, let's compare. So this is what you need to say. You got to say, okay, so what are you comparing my prices to in order for you to determine it's too high? Are you comparing it maybe to a lost fitness because of your back pain, lost happiness because of your lack of time with your family, lost income in work? Are you comparing it to another program that I'm maybe not aware of? And if they come to you and say, well, no, I'm just comparing you to another Pilates teacher, and I know you're so good, I know you're amazing, but you're just so expensive. So then you're going to say to them, okay, so if the price was the same, who would you rather be working with? And of course they're going to say, of course I'm going to be working with you. Yeah, well, then if you got such and such a price from my competitor, why aren't you working with them? Oh, because I want to work with you. You have to say, I don't want to take your money if this isn't going to work for you. I work from a place of alignment, and I want to make sure that I commit to my clients as they commit to me. So if you're not committed to the process, I prefer not to work with you, as I only want to work with committed people. So I really need to make sure that you're on board. And then say nothing, and absolutely say nothing and wait for their reply. I'm just going to stop the share here. And I'm just going to come back and have a conversation with you. So at this stage, the client is knowing that they really want your value because they know you're the expert in your field, but they are still in this gauging mode of, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, but she's got a point because she really wants to give value. I should really work with her. And I tell you, most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, this works. It's worked for me. It's worked for my clients. It works for my coaching clients. And I can guarantee that it will work for you if you have the heart in there, if you put your value in there. So that's really it. It's all about getting your value right, just getting the commitment to the client and showing that you're totally committed to your client. I hope you're excited about this video as much as I am. And if you like it, remember to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. And guys, I'm so honored to be sharing this information with you. I'll see you next time.